Hello, I'm Ashley. It is February 3rd, 2019, and I am 30 years old. I am BRCA2 positive, which is sometimes called the cancer gene, and I have known that I was BRCA2 positive since March of 2011. So my birthday's in May, so I was 22 when I found out that I was positive. I had to look that fact up recently because I couldn't remember if I was 22 or 23, but I was 22. I was tested for BRCA because my mom had breast cancer and was positive for BRCA2. Over the summer of 2010 is when she had chemo, and her mom actually died from breast cancer when my mom was in 4th grade. So my mom was always very diligent and about being screened. And so it wasn't a big surprise to her that she had the cancer gene. And so I decided that I would prefer to know rather than not know. Of course, I was hoping I wasn't positive, but I went with my mom and my uncle to the genetic counseling office and had a discussion about what it all meant. We created a cancer map of, everybody in my family and their different cancers and how they were related. And then I decided to have my blood drawn and got tested. I then received a phone call from the genetic counselor, and she went over the results with me. And I remember very distinctly kind of stepping into a conference room and thinking, okay, so if I'm positive, then that means my two brothers can't be, right? She was like, no, that's not how it works. You can't kind of take it for the team. It's a 50% chance. Since my mom had it, either I had a 50% chance I would or I wouldn't. And that's the same odds for my two brothers as well. So I talked it all over with her, and then she mailed me a packet which included the official results of my test that said I am BRCA2 positive, or BRCA2. And actually the specific kind also. So that's fun. So being BRCA2 positive means I have a way higher chance of having breast cancer, along with other kinds of cancer. My cancer risk by age 70 is 56 to 87% that I will get cancer. So it's not really if I get cancer, but when. Because the general population's risk of getting cancer by age 70 is 7%. Then I also have a higher chance of getting a second breast cancer than the general population. And then ovarian cancer, I have a 10 to 27% chance of having ovarian cancer, where the regular population is 1.8%. Then I also have an issue with pancreatic cancer and skin cancer as well. So I really won. I won the genetic lottery with all my risks of cancer. Since then, I graduated from grad school and got my first job in Alabama and started on the process of seeing doctors. I then moved to Omaha and started seeing doctors, and then had to change doctors because my insurance was having problems. And then I moved to Lawrence, back to Kansas, and have been seeing the same doctors now for 3 months. My schedule of doctors are: in February, I have a breast MRI, which is not fun at all. And then I see the oncologist, even though I don't have cancer, still just to talk things over. And I have the CA-125 test, which would be elevated if I do have cancer, the blood test. Then in May, I go to the gynecologist, and I have a transvaginal ultrasound, which is yucky. And I do my well women stuff too then. And I see the gynecologist. And then in August, I have a mammogram. And this last year I got to have a 3D mammogram, which that was pretty cool. But it's not fun. And I see the oncologist and do the CA-125. And then in November, I go back to the gynecologist and do the transvaginal ultrasound again. And then I'm back around to the beginning of the year and have to start over. So it's every 3 months I am seeing some doctor to watch my cancer possibilities. Now, for so I've been doing that for 8 years, which is just crazy. And now I did have to have a second mammogram once in Omaha, and it was very scary. But because I've been doing this for so long, I can recognize the fact that once I actually find cancer, and it's not if, but once, it's going to be crazy because it's become such a routine of this is just what I do, that it'll be like, whoa, okay. But hopefully because we're doing all this screening, we'll find it early and then it'll just be an easy thing to do. But I was thinking over the fall that, maybe I should start to do something about this. And then I actually saw a news story on Facebook, and it was from my Kansas City station's NBC about somebody who was younger than me who had a preventative double mastectomy, and about why, and with her being BRCA positive and all that. And I was just like, oh, maybe I could actually do this. All this time I was told, oh, you're just too young, just keep doing all the screening, it's fine. And I think probably if I would have pushed them and said, no, I really want to have surgery now, they would have done it. But since I didn't know if I wanted to, or I just was like, whatever, we didn't do it. And so instead we just kept doing the screenings. But now that I'm 30, I've gotten old, and I feel a little bit more like, okay, it's time. Been doing these screenings for 8 years. Like, let's do something. And so when I had my November gynecology appointment, I talked to the doctor, and she recommended I talk to a plastic surgeon to ask a lot of my questions, because I like to run. And so one of my main concerns is how long will I not be able to run? I help lead a running group. I need to know what I'll have to tell them and how long I won't be able to lead the group like I want to. The plastic surgeon was great. She provided me with a lot of support, and she suggested I talk to a general surgeon because when you do a mastectomy and reconstruction, which is what I'm planning on doing, you need 2 surgeons, one to cut stuff off and one to kind of shape it. And she provided me with a recommendation, and so I talked to them earlier this week. Hello, when I was working on editing the video series that I've been doing, I realized I never talked about the FORCE mentor that I talked to, and the actual FORCE meeting I went to as well. So I can never remember what FORCE actually stands for, so I'm going to read it from the computer. It is Facing Our Risk of Cancer Empowered, and it's facingourrisk.org, and it's for people that have the genetic predisposition for cancer. And I signed up to have a conversation with a mentor. We had a phone call, and it was extremely helpful because she was in the same situation as me, doing it preventatively. She was a runner. I could talk to her about all of the concerns I had about that, and then see where she was at in the process, and why. And I got to ask her why she did it, and all of that. And about halfway through the phone call, it just clicked in my head of, okay, I need to do this. This makes sense. So it was extremely helpful. And then my mom and I actually went to a meeting in person in Kansas City where there other people that were BRCA 1 or 2 positive. And that was a good experience, just to be with other people with the exact same issue, hear their experiences, and because we were all at different points in it. I think I had scheduled my surgery at that point, but it was still months away. So it was good. I would suggest if you need some support or anything that you look at the FORCE website, because it is helpful. And there's a whole gallery thing where you can get access to look at after surgery pictures, so you can get a better understanding of what it looks like. And my plan right now is to do this over the summer. My mom asked, because she's a school teacher, if I could wait until the summer so she could help me. And so my thought is, my birthday's on May 14th, maybe do it the following week, because she'll be out of school. And then I could take Memorial Day, wouldn't have to use a sick leave day for that because I would be given it, and take 3-ish weeks off and then go back to work. What's ironic is I had a ton of sick leave hours, but I donated 40 hours this year into the shared leave drive because I was like, oh, I never need them. I don't use them. Like, other people need them more than me. I can donate 40. And now here I am thinking, oh, maybe it would have been good to have those. I do have like a month and a half's worth of sick leave, so I should be fine. But it's just kind of like ironic. But I have watched a lot of videos and have read a lot about the preventative surgery, and so I want to make this video to share my story and help people, hopefully. I am nervous now. I mean, it's February 3rd, 2019, and I'm looking at doing the surgery at the end of May, so it's several months away. So I don't know what I'm going to watch or read as it gets closer and I get even more nervous. I've never had a big surgery before, only I had LASIK 3 years ago, but that's it. So I don't know how I'm going to react to anesthesia and the pain of it all and all of that. So we'll see. But I do think this is the right move because the cancer reduction risk is so huge that I think it's what I need to do. The thought is if I have the double mastectomy at age 31, then maybe I could give it a few years and then do the ovarian stuff. Partly because my ovarian risk is not as high. Yes, ovarian cancer is harder to detect though. So there's kind of like a, okay, how soon should I really do this? But for now, I think I'm going to do the bilateral mastectomy and then mess with the ovarian stuff later. Oh, I did forget to mention, I see a dermatologist every June also for my cancer risk. So that's something, I might have to move that appointment if I end up having the mastectomy in May. I might not be quite ready to go anywhere when that appointment is set up. But that's something to look into. My plan is to make future videos leading up to my surgery and probably after to just kind of share my thoughts and where I'm at, and hopefully I'll be able to help people. I am nervous about all of it, but I think it's the right decision, and hopefully it all goes well. So, talk to you later.